Welcome back, Shop Rats. Today we're just going to give some updates on all of the projects that we have going here at the shop. And well, you can see that we've been taking some time to commit to neatness, which is why I haven't been doing anything hands-on this weekend. But anyway, let's watch a show intro. We'll see you in about 30 seconds. I'm Mike, and this is My Car Shop.
Working out of a 100-year-old refurbished barn, bringing 35 years of experience to projects considered beyond repair. Vision, creativity, and problem solving are essential tools in this place. Watch as we transform junk into polished metal miracles. This is My Car's Shop.
I'm going to be continuing on with cleaning this part of the shop, and it made me think that some of you guys and gals have been asking for an update on some of the projects, because it's been a while since we've given you anything on like the Oakland. It's definitely been quite a while since we've given you anything on the Forsyth Duster. I haven't even given you anything for a while on the Stitches Challenger. So a couple of the other cars are out. We might go look at those as well. But just time to do some project updates and let you know where we're at with things and where we're moving forward. But in the meantime, I got stuff over here that I need to deal with. I got that pickup paint project that I'll be getting back on now that the weather's not 765.6 degrees. So we'll get painting on that soon and get those doors in primer so that we can get them out of the way. That truck will be coming here this fall for me to go ahead and get some paint. So you'll see some action coming on that as well. But let me get some cleaning done, and then I'll get back to you, and we'll start with maybe doing an overview on, well, I don't know, maybe the Oakland, maybe the Duster. I don't know. We'll see. Alrighty, so we did some more cleaning and made progress. And, you know, there's more to do, obviously, but it's the same thing as doing the projects. It's one little bite at a time. One cool thing, Becky and I were garage sailing a couple weeks ago. We went to an estate sale and found a nice, great big vise. And we happened to be there when things were 50% off. So I picked up this massive vise. They were asking $45. We got it for $22.50. So that's cool. I can't wait to get that installed on my welding bench. It needs a new set of jaws, but no big deal there. So yeah, that'll be coming, and that's another project. And I wanted to talk about that a little bit. So that's the welding bench, and there's a lot to be done there, and we'll get to that here in just a minute. But I want to talk about my philosophy on how I tend to get things reined back in here in the shop. I take the same philosophy with getting things straightened out as I do with doing the projects. It's one bite at a time. So yesterday I committed the neatness over here and got that area cleaned up. And today I decided to go ahead and get this area cleaned up, partly because I want to get back on the Forsyth Duster and I needed access. Now I got a lot of other stuff here. Obviously I got the boxes here, the box here that has the door skin and the rear trunk floor for the Challenger in it. I need to squirrel that away somewhere. There's another box back there with a torsion bar cross number for the Duster. The doors for that 86 pickup or whatever the heck year that thing is that I'm working on. So it's a lot of juggling, but my general philosophy to putting things away, I'm going to explain the way the shop is laid out. So over here we have kind of the metalworking area bench, which I don't really use a lot for that because I'm not finished with that yet, and it needs some shielding and so forth put around it to make it fire safe. So I tend to do my grinding and welding out here in the middle of the floor, but eventually that bench is going to be on wheels. So what I tend to do is anything that is air tool related or welding bench type stuff related just gets thrown on that bench when I'm cleaning. Then anything that is body shop related, paints, stuff like that, goes, right now a lot of it's on the front of the Duster because I know I'm going to be using it here on the Challenger, but it generally gets put back on the bench, back in that back corner back there. That's the paint bench. Lubricants and so forth go in the cabinet there. Tools either go in the toolbox or back over there on the tool bench, the tool wall. And so as I'm picking things up and moving them around, all I'm doing is basically shuffling them to the area of the shop that they go. So all the tools get thrown either on the tray, on the toolbox, or on the bench back there, and that bench is a mess because there's other stuff back there that needs to be dealt with that shouldn't be there. But the body shop stuff goes back there on the body bench. Any welding, grinding, air tool related stuff goes over there on the welding bench. And I quickly get stuff just pushed back and out of the way, and of course throw away all the trash. And I can't say that enough, and it's something I'm still teaching myself is the quickest way to get things clean is get rid of the garbage. Get rid of the trash. Get it in a trash can. Get it picked up, get it thrown away. Shop towels, stuff like that. Now, y'all been around the shop long enough to know that I tend to, if I have especially solvent-soaked rags, they go on the floor till they dry out so they don't potentially spontaneously combust in a trash can. Learned that lesson the hard way 30 years ago. Came out in the shop. Fortunately, it was on the floor, but it was starting to smolder just from the chemicals that were on that rag. And I thought, man, I'm glad that wasn't in a trash can. Now, if you had a trash can with a lid, the oxygen would probably, diminish and it wouldn't burn. But just to be safe, you'll see me chucking rags on the floor, and then I go back and pick those up later. So that's a safety concern. That's a me thing. Some of y'all might not agree with that. Don't care. That's just what I do. But anyway, I try to compartmentalize where I put stuff, and each thing kind of has an area where it goes. So that's the first thing when I'm cleaning up is I just move everything to the general direction of where it belongs. And then the next bites that I will take. So I cleaned the middle shop yesterday, did that. Cleaned this area over here today, did that. There's a lot of stuff over there. I'll take you over there and show you. But anything that belonged in a different area got put in a different area. And there's a whole bunch of stuff on the floor down here in front of the duster yet. I got to sort through its Oakland parts, its Duster parts, and its Challenger parts. And it's just become kind of a catch-all. Plus there's 3 big tubes of steel there that we're going to use for some critting on the Duster. So I got to get all that sorted through. I need to get some tubs to put things in. There's tubs of Oakland parts that need to go upstairs. I'm going to let that go for now. One big struggle that I have is where do I put stuff? So I have those nice 2008 Dodge seats. There's another set of seats back there out of the 47. There's some Dart seats back there. I really don't like that stuff being here in the shop, but here's the problem. If I put it upstairs, 2 things are going to happen to it. It's going to get mouse infested, and it's going to get crapped all over by raccoons. So I tend to not put anything that's really good upstairs, but I'm still trying to figure out how do I squirrel some of this stuff away in a place that it's not going to get destroyed by the critters that we have to deal with here on the farm. So it's an issue. I struggle with enough inside the cars, and then of course with all these parts. So anyway, just wanted to kind of give you that little bunny trail there on my philosophy. Now understand that I'm like a sinner telling other people how not to sin. I know that I am not, as my mother used to say, she was never Susie Homemaker in her life. I guess I got that trait from her. I tend to be a messy. If you look at those different personality types, it is what it is. You know what? I have to learn how to manage myself. I have to learn what works for me in the time that I have. You know, when I was semi-retired, it wasn't as big a deal because I spent 1 day a week coming out here straightening things up. Now that I'm back to work full-time for this period, I don't have that kind of time right now. So I would rather give you guys content and keep moving forward on the projects than try to keep the shop as neat and tidy as I might like it. But so the next bites are going to be cleaning up the benches, those 3 benches, and getting that flat surfaces cleaned off. And I will say this, flat surfaces in the shop are the enemy. That's why you see me working on fender stands with boards on top, because I can put that crap away and take those down and stuff just doesn't get left there. Really half the battle in this stuff is just learning how to meet yourself where you're at. For example, like when I put all the wrenches on screws on the wall rather than keeping them in the toolbox. It helps me keep things more organized. It's easier to put them away. I know when something's not away, I can go find it. If you'd like me to share more of those things that I've learned over the years and kind of my philosophy on shop organization, which I said, as I know, seems rather hypocritical, but there is a method to this madness in my head. And if I only had 2 cars in here like I did for years, the place was usually pretty respectable. But when you've got 4 cars in here and you're working on 11 projects, 12 projects actually with this truck project, it can get a little hairy sometimes. So it's been good this weekend to take a break from doing as much hands-on work and just kind of pushing the walls back. Now, let's do the projects overviews. That's what you're here for. So we had talked about the Forsyth Duster, and we've actually done several episodes on this car. We cut out all this floor up in here to see the condition of that transmission cross member, and we have a new one in the box here. As I was looking at this yesterday or day before yesterday, My first thought was to replace all of this floor. I'm going to see what's cheaper, but even if we buy an entire floor pan, I still might cut it up and just use the pieces, because this piece of floor over here is actually pretty good. The deciding factor in that is going to be whether or not that inner rocker panel over there underneath that floor is still solid. I think it is on that side. I think it's the driver's side that's the worst. The inner rocker over there is really bad, and we need to replace that. So we're going to go ahead and order one of those. I don't think I'm going to make that. Once that's in, if the one on the passenger side is good, then we can get that transmission cross member in. And that's what that square tube is for up there, is to build a crib to keep this car from spreading and just doing stuff, so that we can get that inner rocker in and get that transmission or that torsion bar cross member back in the car and get this car structurally good. Once that's done, this car actually isn't that far from being banged out. So my plan is, what I want to happen is, my hope is that the Stitches Challenger will be far enough along that it'll be ready to come off the rotisserie by the time this car is ready to go on the rotisserie, so that we can put it on there and spin it up and get everything cleaned and painted underneath the car and check all the structural integrity and check the frame and all the stuff that needs to be done there. So yeah, it's a fair bit of work, but it's not a huge amount of work. And but we got to get this off of there first. So timing wise, I've been spending a lot of time thinking about this one, and got my plan in kind of place. And so it may seem like I haven't worked on that a lot. That's because I haven't. I've been plotting, planning, thinking. Kind of got the plan now pretty well nailed down. But I like to have time to just have them in the shop and just kind of like become one with them and let them tell me what they need. And then about the time that's gone on, boom, then this will be hopefully ready to get back on the floor. Because this thing really isn't that far. If I really got serious about it, in a couple of weeks, I could have this car rolling around again. And that's one of the reasons I wanted to get this home, because now that the Duster is kind of in hand and I know what's got to happen, and of course the Challenger is very far along, I wanted this car here to start listening to it and having it tell me what it wants and what it needs. So there's always a method to this madness, and it may seem like I've got no plan or philosophy here, but I actually do. And I've learned over the years, have a car around for a while, look at it, play with it, do little things to it once in a while just to get a feel for it, like we did on the Duster when we cut the floor out. And then once you get to know that car, when it comes time to do the work, it can happen pretty quick. Update on the Stitches Challenger. We've got this work to do here. I need to modify that hoop a little bit to clear the shift rods. There'll be an episode coming on that soon. It's been a while since I've worked on any of this. Once that's done, then we can get this floor finished up and we can get the floor made over there. We got the back pans already, which are out of either a 71 to 74 B body or a CUDA, as channel viewer George pointed out. Appreciate that, buddy. They're 2 inches shorter, I believe, than the Challenger, and that makes sense because the wheelbase on those cars is a couple inches longer, so that's probably where they kind of got some of it, was right in there. But the car's coming along good. We're going to get the trunk floor in it and stuff like that, but I'm still undecided if we're going to do that on the rotisserie or not. I was leaning towards that, but the more I think about it, it might be easier to do that when the car's off. So drop it down there in the comments. Give me your thoughts. What do you think would be easier? Put the trunk floor in with it off the rotisserie or with it on the rotisserie? The Oakland has been not running for about 5 weeks now. It was missing real bad at low RPM. I've changed plugs. I've tested all the wires. I've tried different coils. I've changed out the condenser to 4 different condensers, cleaned the points. Something's wrong with it. So I'm going to look one more time at the ignition, but I've got the carburetor almost completely disconnected because I'm wondering if we have a plugged air passage in the carburetor and it's running rough because it's flooding out. It does stink the shop out, but bad ignition could cause that too. So I just have not been spending much time on this right now. Life's been crazy, and you don't even know the half of it, and that's fine. You don't need to. But I just kind of set this aside. I just needed a little break from it, get some space and some perspective. Sometimes the best thing you can do from a project is just step back and get a little space and let your head clear and think about it. So I come back once in a while and I chip away at it, then I get some space. So it's not like I've done nothing. It's just been nothing that's really worth filming on the channel. 413 for the Golden Mullet is still sitting here. I've been soaking that bank of cylinders. I come back here every few days and squirt some PV Blaster down there. And we'll do that to the other side. Do I expect the pistons are going to break loose? Of course not. But I still would like to have that so when I get after it with either an air hammer or I have a big chunk of aluminum that I've had real good success with. My plan will probably be to pull the pan off, get all the rods out, get the crank out if I can, then individual rod by individual or individual cylinder by individual cylinder, go in there and try to blast those pistons down a little bit, get them broke loose, and then pound them out the other way. I've done that quite successfully. If we can't get that, we will get them out of there by air chisel and a few other things, and you can do that without messing up the cylinders if you're careful. Now the cylinder's already junk anyway, so we may not be able to salvage this block, but you know this channel, we always try to fix crap that nobody else would mess with, so this is a perfect engine for us. We had mentioned that, well, if you remember the episode on this, there was a 455 Pontiac sitting here in this tub, and there, and then over there. That motor's gone because the day that that episode aired, channel viewer George, who lives an hour away, messaged me and said, hey, I've got a Firebird project I'm doing with my son, and how would you like to trade that 455 for a cast crank 340? Well, guess what I have now? I have a 73 cast crank 340. So I had a couple of 340s anyway. We have the one for the Duster, of course. That's not here yet, but we also have two more over in there. And I've been reluctant to put together a 340. I've always been using 360s in the GTS because 340s are getting kind of rare. But you know what? With this many here now, I'm not getting any younger, and I might as well consider going ahead and maybe putting together a super belt 340 to put in the GTS. And of course, that'll mean a different transmission and a lot of money that I don't have right now, but that's where my brain is right now. So I don't know that this one will be the one that we use. But there's another one. Oh, somewhere, that's a 318 there. It's back over in there somewhere under all that stuff. And then there's another one here, which is the one that is terrible as far as, oh, cool, we got a points distributor. Dual point distributor. Awesome. I was looking for one. Another project for another time. Anyway, this one that you can see that all the, some of the bolts are gone, but some of them are rounded right off. So I don't know if we're going to be able to get this apart, but it is a set of J heads. And I want to try, I don't know if those are 202 heads or not, but it's a rusty crusty, and we're going to try to salvage what we can out of that one as well. As far as the 47.4 goes, we still got to paint that grill. I hope maybe to get that done yet this fall, but life is just kind of telling me that I'm overachieving again and I need to reprioritize. But I might be able to do that work around the same time while I have the shop set up to do that pickup for my buddy Dave. So we'll see. And that car is close to being ready to go on the road. A little bit of wiring to finish up. 74 Swinger. We got to hang another quarter panel. The car just has not been getting the attention it needs. I keep pondering the idea of selling it, but I've had it for so long. My son Joe drove it in high school. We've got a nice 318 to put in it, and you know, I just would kind of like to see that project through to completion, even if it was just in primer as a driver. So we will get on that, but it's not on the docket anytime soon. Our scoops, it really doesn't need much. I'd like to get a set of wheels for it. It's got the small bolt pattern wheels. I have a set of discs for it. I have an 8 3/4 for it, but quite frankly, I'm content with driving it just the way it is. I have a lot of fun with it, and I still want Becky to drive this car at some point. I keep thinking about putting a Holly Sniper on it, but again, funding, it would just make it a little easier for her to drive. But we've really not had many issues with the car. It's quit a couple times, and it's been minor things. So, you know, it's been, we haven't driven it a whole lot lately, but I think we did an episode a few weeks ago now where we just did a drive along on that. Once in a while, you'll see me drive it for Talk About It Tuesdays. As far as the GTS, I actually have it insured now. I haven't driven it, but I put fuel in it yesterday. I was thinking about taking it out today, but I don't know if we're going to have time. We got a whole bunch of stuff that happened this weekend that we're going to have to deal with. So always have bigger plans than I have time to do. But the motor is getting a bit tired. Transmission's getting a bit tired. These things have been in here for, oh my goodness, close to 20 years now. So it needs a refresh, which is why I was thinking about the 340. But again, it's going to come down to money. But the car is good. I want to pull the interior out of it. Some mice got into it a couple of years ago and kind of just, they didn't chew anything up, but it stinks inside. And some of that was there were some dead ones on a glue trap under the seat that I didn't know. So I've had it out here with the windows down when it's not raining to air it out a little bit. But I think what I want to do is pull the carpeting out and give that a good super clean bath and then put it back together again and just get that aroma back out, and we'll load it up good with some Grandpa Gus. But the car's running and driving, and we did an episode on it, actually aired today. So it'll be a month ago now from this, but so there'll be more coming on that car because the weather's cooling down now and we can actually put some miles on it. As far as the 69 Charger, there's more work coming on that. I've got some shocks to put on it. We're going to do some wiring work. I actually put it in the shop a little while ago to do some work on it, and then it quit, and that whole episode went a different way. But Joe and I have been conversing, and I'll be chipping away at getting things done on this car and getting it closer to being ready to put on the road. There's some trim to do, which I need to get my polishing stuff to be able to get that cleaned up and get that on the car. But there's definitely going to be more work coming here on the 69 Charger over the next year. It's way up on the priority list over some of the other projects, so watch for that. It's the plow truck. We're not going to do anything with that on the channel, but I wanted to mention my 2004 Cadillac CTS. This thing is a rear-wheel drive, 300 horsepower V6. This was the car that was built to compete at the Nürburgring, but they put a V8 in it, 5.7, I think, when they did that. It's a super fast, fun car, but it's been parked since the pandemic hit. I decided to just start driving my truck, and this thing is getting really rusty. I do want to go ahead and get this thing patched up, so this will be a quick slam bam. This quarter panel is really rusty, and the car's it's actually pretty nice when it's cleaned up. So I want to get this car back out and get it cleaned up in the next year or so and see if I can sell it. It's got a brand new motor in it. I paid $8,000 to put a new can't remember what it is, 3.5, 3.7, 3.4? I don't remember. Anyway, it's got a brand new motor in it. It's only got like 30,000 miles on it, not even. Great car, gets over 30 miles to the gallon. Super fast, but terrible in the snow. So, yes, I've not talked about this one, but that Cadillac is going to get back on the road and hopefully get down the road. Pretty buried in the weeds right now, but you can see this side of the car is actually, it's pretty clean. It's just that other side. That rear quarter panel on the other side was hit, and I actually fixed it once, and it just didn't last because I didn't do a real good job on it, and I need to do a better job. And you can't buy quarter panels for this thing, so got to just make everything. And I didn't have some of the equipment then that I have now. And of course, last but not least, our 88 Dodge Power Ram. Nothing wrong with the truck except it needs a brake line, and I just got to put it back together again. And I just keep not getting to it. I got a set of tires coming for it, so we'll be getting those on it. Becky wants to drive this truck and use it for hauling firewood and stuff, and I promised her I'd get it on the road, and I didn't get it done last year, but we really need to get it on the road this year to get that silly topper off the plow truck. Where is that? Whoop, right there. That topper actually goes on the plow truck, but I got parts stored in the back, and so that's what they're for. And of course, we got the 91 over there, and that's just a parts truck for this one, so I'll be selling off what's left of that when I'm done. But truck runs great. I could throw a battery and start it up right now and pump the tires up and drive it around. It always starts and it always runs. It's terrible on gas, but for the little we're going to use it here around the property and for hauling firewood, it's a great truck. I'm just going to throw it in black primer or something like that, and we're going to drive it and have fun with it. Well, I think that covers all 12 of the projects that we've got going here right now. If you have any questions, throw them out there. Right now I'm really not looking for any more projects. I have enough to keep me busy for the next 5 or 6 years, and I'm not getting any younger, so it's time to be thinking about that as well. But if you have any questions or comments, drop them. Remember that we do everything here on a shoestring. I don't have much money in any of this stuff. It's not about money, it's about putting in the work and the effort. Yeah, there comes time when you got to build a motor, you're going to have to spend some money. You can't shoestring that or you're going to end up ruining something, but little by little we get there. I'm really pumped to get this car back on the ground. So we'll be focusing hot and heavy again on this car through the winter, but you're going to see work coming on that Foresight Duster 100%. So yeah, it's something else I wanted to tell you. Let me think about it. Where it was, it's gone, but remember, the way we move forward on anything is just one bite at a time, and it doesn't matter what we're doing in life. So I've got bites to do to come back out here and get those benches cleaned up, and I'll probably tackle one bench a day for an hour and just get them done, and hopefully I haven't made a bigger mess in the meantime. But we'll be coming back at you with more hands-on content soon, so thanks for watching. I appreciate it. If you haven't subscribed, please do that. Hit the bell so you receive those notifications. We put out episodes every Tuesday, every Friday, and every Sunday, like clockwork at 7 o'clock in the morning. We're on the Face thing. We're over on Instagram. She loves us. She gives us cookies and stuff like that. Oh, and one more thing. It's probably the most important thing here on this channel, and I know a lot of you guys and gals, you look forward to this part.